No one has gone before.
Como wa, konnichiwa, and Yobaseo. Will here of the POLIT'AI CHI quickie slideshow of the montage of this episode. Spike Lee, I think he's just pissed off because his best known for lately has been the third wheel in the Capital One commercials. Where's your protest for being typecast? Because in basketball, all of the NBA, but these are the Capital One commercials started during the tournament, and 70% employees are African American. Where's your complaint about that? Alright, so you see all the stats coming up here. There are a lot of NFL players. I'm going to take umbrage with this. Talent-wise, you got to pick your battles. Pay attention to this dude right here. Leads up to the poly ride. And then I had to throw this in here because dude coming up here at the end, former New York Jet, run from New York City comptroller. I'm a little bit embarrassed that it's on the channel covering DeBlasio's win as mayor. I mean, he looks like he would be a jerk, right? So it's Mr. Faulkner. I mean, having played at the collegiate level with the brothers from the Rockies, you ask any NFL player who played at the U, my alma mater, former New York Jet, I think he's from LSU, where he played school ball. There's no ethnism running around. What do I mean by ethnism? Okay, I rolled this.
Sovereign claim to inalienable human rights.
Inalien, that you could only hear yourselves. Human rights. My very name is racist.
Right. Like the only movie I know of that really kind of points it out. So unless your best friend is a Romulan, or God forbid a Ferengi, it's ethnism. It's the term to be partial to one's ethnicity is ethnocentricity, not racocentricity. It's ethnist, ethnism, ethnist attitudes towards. All right. And of course, this guy who looks like he's 18 years old coming out, all starry-eyed and idealist. You know, that's the reason for this poly rant. You'll see coming up. Put a little snippet right here.
This isn't about Colin Kaepernick. This is about a really uncomfortable conversation that America needs to have.
Okay, no. I mean, unless you have played at the high levels with different ethnic groups. I mean, at the college football level, even in the states where maybe ethnism is a little bit more predominant than where I'm from, the Rocky Mountains. Excuse me. Right-wing militia movements? Absolutely. Religious intolerance to a partying kind of lifestyle if you're not a goody two-shoe? Absolutely. Ethnism? No. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Alright, thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Roll clips.
Hey, Dana, at the time, San Francisco 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick said he wouldn't stand for the national anthem because, quote, I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. The NFL's initial response was that players are encouraged but not required to stand during the anthem. But Kaepernick's protest led to an intense national backlash. And now, just weeks before the start of the NFL season, Kaepernick has yet to sign with a new team. Film director Spike Lee is among those who think the national anthem controversy is the reason he remains a free agent. So Lee is promoting a rally for Kaepernick at NFL headquarters on August 23rd called United We Stand, where, by the way, they spelled Kaepernick's name wrong. Lee admits he did not organize the rally. In fact, he won't even attend, but on Twitter, he made it clear he agrees with its intent, saying, quote, how is it possible that all 32 teams in the NFL, no Freedom League he calls it, can't or won't find a spot for number 7 on their rosters with his proven talent? What Spike Lee fails to mention in his proven talent comment is that in 2013, Colin Kaepernick was rated the 8th best quarterback in the league and led his team to a Super Bowl. Last year, he was a highly paid quarterback who ranked 23rd in the league. And as an ESPN writer tells it, quote, don't overthink why Colin Kaepernick is still a free agent. Simply put, years have passed since he was an effective quarterback. And last year, we should note, television ratings for the NFL were down 8% from the previous year. Now, a new poll shows that 26% of those who stopped watching did so because of the national anthem protests. Dana.
All right, Trace, thank you. Joining us now, Katie Pavlich, Town Hall News Editor and a Fox News contributor, and Michael Starr Hopkins, a Democratic strategist who served on the Obama and Clinton campaigns. Thanks you both for being here. You know, I have really deep football knowledge, so I don't. So, Katie, let me turn it over to you. What do you make of this whole controversy?
Well, first of all, the stats on Colin Kaepernick's talents are true. Last year, during Week 3, he threw 4 interceptions against the Arizona Cardinals, proving that he's just not that good at football anymore, and he's not at that starter level. There have been reports that he turned down what they call backup pay, meaning he was offered a deal to be a non-starter on a variety of teams, and instead wanted to continue pursuing this narrative. The second is just the poll that Trace mentioned by J.D. Power. The number one reason why NFL fans, not just people in general, fans tuned out of games last year was because of the disrespect that Colin Kaepernick and other people who followed them showed for the national anthem and for the American flag, which represents all of us in this country.
That's interesting because I just remember last fall, the only thing I could do is work on the campaign coverage and the election. Michael, you have a very different view of this. You think he is being unfairly targeted?
I do. I wrote a column about this for the Huffington Post yesterday.
Oh, of course.
Colin Kaepernick is absolutely being banned. Colin Kaepernick had 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You know, like the reporter stated, he may have been
used to be a little bit left of center. Not anymore.
But there's still 31, 32 teams in the league, which means he should at least be a backup, if not a starter. This isn't about Colin Kaepernick. This is about a really uncomfortable conversation that America needs to have about African Americans and the policing that's going on in this country.
Shut
One of the things I learned, Katie,
you know where he
was
went to
that Brandon Marshall,
school?
who played for
Do you
the
know
Denver Broncos, and I
what
think he's at the Giants
formation
now,
that school even invented when he went to school?
Get ready for this. New York City Mayor Bill DeBlasio is a bully with a bad attitude. That according to newly leaked emails published by the New York Post, which details some of DeBlasio's temper tantrums against his own staff. In one of these emails, DeBlasio lambasted his communication aides because they didn't use phonetic spellings for hard words he found difficult to pronounce. Do what I do, just mispronounce them. And another diatribe, the mayor writes, "What do I need to get you guys to follow a direct order, question mark? Do you need to experience consequences, question mark, close quote." In a follow-up email titled, "Guys, I'm fed up," which I believe he writes his own headlines, unlike the New York Post, DeBlasio blames his staff for his verbal stumbles and says, "Between all of you, you haven't fixed the problem," which is bluntly unprofessional. According to the Post, City Hall insiders called DeBlasio condescending and arrogant. You think so? And said the emails are an accurate portrayal of how the mayor treats his staff. But the embarrassing and typewritten emails differ greatly from how DeBlasio presents himself. Take a look at this.
I also think there's a place for a thing we call good morale, where you're honored, you're respected, your work is put on the pedestal it should be put on, and you're told every day by a mayor and a chancellor, "We need you, we appreciate you, we thank you."
Based on a true story, but pure fiction. The emails will likely have no effect on DeBlasio, who seems immune from embarrassment. In his first term as mayor, DeBlasio faced corruption charges and probes, been caught giving preferential treatment to his donors, and used taxpayer monies to pay for his lawyers and European trips. He uses a police helicopter to avoid rush hour traffic, and when he visited the subway, he had police clear out all the homeless first. The mayor routinely spends much of the day napping and is famously late for everything, and once missed a ceremony honoring the victims of a plane crash because he, quote, "had a very rough night and woke up sluggish." He even killed a groundhog by dropping it on a Groundhog Day in a photo op, then tried to cover it up. I guess he stuffed it. Last month, he skipped the funeral of a slain officer because he wanted to join a left-wing anti-Trump protester in Germany. Remember that? A trip financed by city funds, of course. Despite all of that, DeBlasio will likely, and I hate to say this, cruise to re-election this fall, and that is sad. Reverend Michael Faulkner is a candidate for New York City Comptroller, and he joins us right now. Why don't you run for mayor first?
Brian, I tried that, and believe me, we couldn't get the kind of traction that we would be getting now, but here's here's the thing. There are two people in that position, the comptroller and the mayor, and the mayor needs to go, but the comptroller needs to control the mayor if the mayor doesn't go.
What's amazing, that's true. So you're going to play a big role, and of course your sports background, your work ethic, what you do for kids on a regular basis makes you a perfect politician because you care more about the people than actually having success and getting rich. In DeBlasio's case, he's doing everything to blow it. The word is today that he gets in and work at 10 o'clock after working out, is so tired he sleeps on his couch with a newspaper on his head to block out the overhead lights and demands people quiet down.
It's unbelievable. And then he berates his staff because he's a micromanager that can't micromanage because he's not there to micromanage.
Right.
And he doesn't show up to do his job, and then he berates his staff for not doing their job.
So what I don't understand is you had Mayor Bloomberg win as a Republican, even though he was more of a moderate, and no one could ever question Mayor Bloomberg's work ethic and his views. And by the way, he wrote a lot of checks for people, and no one ever knows it.
Right.
Man, Rudy Giuliani transformed this city twice as a Republican.
Oh my goodness.
You're a Republican. Why don't Republicans have any traction anymore?
He was having staff meetings. Rudy Giuliani used to have staff meetings at 7 o'clock his first year out. Then he gave him a break. He started having staff meetings at 8 o'clock every morning. But listen, it's not about Republicans, Democrats. It's about connecting with the people, connecting with the voters. I'm connecting with the voters right now. The people are believing in me. I'm spending a lot of time in public housing, and they're fed up with DeBlasio. They're fed up with Stringer. They're fed up with the rhetoric, for the progressive rhetoric. They simply want jobs and equal opportunities, and that's what we're talking about. Those are the conversations we're having.
Michael, I have a unique perspective because I've lived in Long Island, and I went to school in Long Island, so every 2 or 3 months I have a reason to go in the city. In the last 20 years, I do it every day. I watched the city transform when they said it was impossible. I watched crime just dissipate. I watched the graffiti go, and 42nd Street is now a tourist place, and I'm seeing it go the other direction. Where's the outrage?
The outrage should be from those people who are protesting the election of President Trump. They should be protesting now the existence of Bill DeBlasio. They should be protesting where the city is going. But the way we can protest is in November. We can vote the bums out. We can drain the swamp. We truly have an electorate, and we have some opportunities to truly elect people who are going to represent the people.
You know, the Democratic governor can't stand the Democratic mayor. They hate each other. They can't stand the side of each other. They needle each other, constantly work against each other. But what does it say about New York that they're not demanding more? The fact is that 46% of people say he deserves another 4 years, and 46% says he doesn't. This should be a black and white issue.
One of the unfortunate statistics about New York is that we have become the most corrupt state in the union in terms of elected officials that go to jail or that are under investigation for crimes or for for mismanagement. That's unfortunate. It creates a distrust in the minds of the electorate. People don't trust the politicians. They won't vote for them. They disengage from
I just want to get your perspective quick on what's happening to Colin Kaepernick. And you know, he as a football player, an outstanding one in college and played in the NFL. You know that he does not have a job. He evidently turned down a $900,000 job because it was insulting. And by the way, you now have Spike Lee saying, I'm organizing a protest. Right. No one goes to a football game or buys any football paraphernalia until he gets a job. 140,000 people are signing on to that petition. What's your reaction?
Well, listen, first of all, football is a business. They're an employer. They employ Colin Kaepernick. I'm proud of him for expressing his political views. He has a right as an American to express his political views. And those employers have a right to fire him or not to hire him. He is a highly paid employee of an organization that has the right to say the kind of employees they want. And they're expressing their rights. He's expressing his. If he's a real martyr, he's suffering the consequences for his political opinion. Take it like